Alrighty. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this video series. It's called the Three Secrets to Planning for a Successful Retirement. Now, of course, we cannot provide any guarantees in the financial world, but certainly we can plan or do our best to plan anyway to enjoy the best retirement that we can. Right. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look down here. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to get, let's see, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. And I think I'm going to do, let's see if I can get this going here. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and dive right in. Three secrets to successful retirement planning. And before we get going, just to give you an idea who I am, my name is Michael Reese. I am a certified financial planning professional. I'm the founder and CEO of Centennial Advisors. We are located in Austin, Texas, and we focus our efforts on retirement planning. So we help people who are nearing retirement, who are in retirement, and our goal is to help those families make really good financial choices so that they and you can live your best that is yet to come. So let's go ahead and dive into secret number one. Now, whenever you think about real estate investing, there is one word, or we could say three words, if you will, that provide success, if we could call it, in real estate investing. And I guess the question I would ask you is, do you know what those three words are? Well, of course, the answer is location, location, location. Well, if there are three words that can represent the core of what is create success in real estate investing, well, there are also three words that represent the core of what could be successful or considered to be successful in retirement planning. And those three words are, of course, income, income, income. One of the biggest ahas that I think families find is that when you are working, the entire financial game is all about growing and accumulating assets so that someday you can retire. But once you do retire, the game changes. It changes from growth and accumulation to a game of protecting what you've worked so hard to build and cash flow. Or said another way, it's all about generating income. Now, when we think about that, what is it we want our income to do for us? Well, what are the goals? Well, number one, we want our income to be stable. Think about when you were working, just when you were working, as long as you were working, you would get a stable paycheck. Don't you want the same type of thing during retirement? We also want our income to grow. Now, why do we want our income to grow? You've got it. It's inflation. It's funny. For a long time, inflation wasn't much of anything, but lately, it kind of peaked its ugly head up, hasn't it? And then, of course, we want our income to last. How long do you want your income to last? Well, obviously, as long as you and your spouse, if you're married, do. So we want our income to be stable. We want it to grow and we want it to last. And by the way, think about it this way. When it comes to your retirement planning, you might be retired for 30 years. The good news is we're living longer. The bad news is we're not working longer. You might retire at 62 and live to 92. A third of your life might be in retirement. So that's a long time for your money to last. Now, the financial industry for many years has a program or an investment approach that they've recommended for retirement planning. Now, this investment approach started all the way back in the mid 90s. A financial advisor named William Benjamin, I believe his name is pronounced, came up with it. So we're talking something that came up 30 years ago that the financial industry is still using today. And it's something called the 4% rule. And here's how that works. You take a portfolio, you take your retirement assets, and you invest them in a 60-40 portfolio, roughly 60% stocks, 40% bonds. Now, by the way, the creator of this program actually says 50-50 is probably more where you want to be. But 50-50, 60-40, 40-60, somewhere in that range is typically where they recommend. Now, if you do that, next you would withdraw 4% from your account. So let's say you retire with $1 million. What's 4% of $1 million? It's $40,000. So you withdraw $40,000 a year. You bump it up a little bit each year with inflation. And if you do that, statistically, your money should last 30 years. Now, that's what the 4% rule is. However, the problem with this is that it was created in the mid 90s. What was the stock market doing in the mid 90s? Well, it was earning 14% a year on average. 10-year government bonds were paying 5-6% a year. That is not the world that we live in today. And as a result, recent headlines are telling us that the 4% rule might cause problems. Motley Fool actually reported how the creator of the 4% rule, William Benjamin himself, said, hey, this might not work anymore. And Morningstar's been looking this for many years, and the most recent studies indicate that 4%, if you do 4%, you might run out of money. Maybe you should pull out something closer to 3%. JP Morgan private bank came out with a study just this past August that said, hey, retirement planning, even multimillionaires can run out of money. Spending 4% a year may put your portfolio at risk. In fact, they recommend that you withdraw. Hold on just one second. They recommend that you withdraw something more like 2 or 3% is all they want. So, this 4% rule is telling us the idea is kind of cool, but the problem is this. What the research is telling us is that it works really well in good market environments, but if markets have tough periods, then counting on the markets and counting on this 4% rule to deliver your ongoing income in retirement, especially for a 30-year period, well, it might create some frustrations. In fact, you may very well find yourself running out of money. It's a real problem. So, what is a solution? Like, what could we do, that would work in both good markets and bad, hopefully? What might be a better option, right? So, over the years, and I've been, working at this for almost 30 years now, we've identified a solution that works pretty well for our clients, and it works something like this. Let's imagine that when you retire, here's your retirement savings at the top. You have like a chunk of money. And we encourage our clients to take that money and break it into 3 buckets. Now, for purposes of this video, I'm only going to focus on the first bucket, and that bucket is called protected income. And what we like to do is we like to put money into an account that is insured, where your money's safe, or at least I could say safer. And this is where we are going to distribute all of your regular ongoing retirement income for some period of time. So let's take a look at an example of that. Let's imagine you retire with $1 million. Now, you might have more than that. You might have less than that. This is just a round number. And let's imagine that we're going to take 4% income, which is $40,000 a year. Well, if we put maybe half of our $1 million, again, what did the founder of the 4% rule say? Put about half of your money in stocks, half of your money in bonds, roughly. In this case, we're probably not going to use bonds unless they're government bonds, because we want our money to be safe and insured. We might use insurance company contracts. We might use government bonds here. But if we do it the right way, we put aside maybe half, maybe 500,000. And if we do that, that's going to allow us to take that 4% income for anywhere from 15 to 20 years, depending on inflation, depending on how the account earns and all that, those things that we don't know, of course. But typically, it's going to buy us 15 to 20 years of income. Now, by the way, in the other 2 buckets, you can imagine that the other half of the portfolio would be invested in such a way to grow to replace the money that we're drawing down. Because at the end of that 15 to 20 years, that protected income bucket is probably going to be about zero. I mean, we're going to spend that baby all the way down to zero. So that's the first step, is solving for income. Now, obviously, after that account goes to zero, or probably before that, we're going to be replenishing that account with money from buckets to the right. But the idea is segregate your money. Take some money, put it in a bucket to generate income, where the only job of that bucket, that protected income bucket, is to deliver income on a stable, predictable, ongoing basis. So there you go. I can tell you, congratulations. We have solved the income component, secret number one, of successful retirement planning. Now, in our next video, we're going to talk about those other two buckets, which is all about investing. All right, so let's go ahead. We're going to close out the slideshow for now. I'll come back to you live and in person here and let you know that enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed it as I did sharing it with you. And we will see you in our next video where we're going to talk about investing.